Did she really replace you? Or did she just sprint away from the silence because she's terrified of what she'll hear when she's finally alone with herself? Be honest, the speed wasn't strength. It was avoidance. It was noise, motion, distraction. Anything to keep her from sitting in a quiet room where her own reflection starts asking the questions she's been dodging for years. And you're sitting there wondering, was I that easy to erase? No, you weren't easy to forget. You were just too real to be convenient. Here's the part most men miss. People don't always leave because they stopped feeling. Sometimes they leave because the feelings were getting too heavy. Because love started demanding accountability, growth, and truth. And truth is uncomfortable when someone's been living off comfort. So she moved on, not as proof she's healed, but as proof she's running. Before we go deeper, lock this into your mindset. Drop a comment with a real-life moment that changed you, your biggest lesson in love, betrayal, or self-respect. Or just type, "I'm the man." Not for ego, for alignment. And if you want more of this calm, ruthless clarity from Stoic legacy, subscribe now, because the next steps only work if you stop consuming advice and start living it. Now understand this. Mistakes don't always show up with flashing lights. Sometimes they show up like a delayed receipt, weeks, months, even years later, when reality finally catches up to fantasy. Right now, she's in the phase where she thinks she won. She believes she upgraded. She believes she's in control. But that confidence is fragile, because it's built on one assumption, that you're still there emotionally, still watching, still aching, still waiting. And that's why the first rule is simple. You don't chase a woman who walked away, not because you're bitter, not because you hate her, but because chasing tells her you're available at any price, and a man with no price gets treated like he has no value. When you beg, you don't prove love. You prove dependency, and dependency kills respect. 1. The power of absence. Absence isn't punishment, it's truth. Silence isn't weakness. It's a weapon when you know how to hold it. Most men waste silence by breaking it too soon. They text, just checking in. They send one last paragraph. They ask for closure. They react to posts. They leak emotion like a cracked container. And every leak feeds her certainty. Absence creates value because the human mind doesn't register loss until something is actually gone. If you keep showing up, physically or digitally, she never experiences the weight of what she threw away. But when you vanish cleanly, the brain reacts like withdrawal. It starts scanning for patterns, hunting for explanations, trying to fill the void. That's when she begins to feel what she refused to face, the missing. At first, she'll look fine. She'll be busy with the novelty, the attention, the new storyline. But novelty fades. The thrill wears thin. And one day she'll sit in a quiet moment and feel that uncomfortable question crawl up her spine. Did I misjudge him? That's where regret is born. Not from your speeches, but from your absence. And when she goes searching, checking profiles, asking mutual friends, fishing for reactions, your job is to give her nothing. No sad quotes, no glow-up performance, no forced happiness, just calm distance. Because mystery is stronger than explanation, and restraint is louder than begging. Most men don't have the discipline for this. They break. They accidentally like an old photo. They send a late-night message. They reopen the door she already chose to close. And the moment you do that, you hand her the power back. So don't. Be the man who leaves no emotional fingerprints behind. 2. Emotional control is ultimate strength. She expected you to crack. She expected anger, pleading, spiraling, dramatic closure conversations. And if you gave her that, you didn't just lose her, you lost your frame. Because the world doesn't respect the man who's ruled by his feelings. It respects the man who can feel deeply and still move with discipline. This is where Stoicism separates boys from men. You don't control what she does. You don't control who she dates. You don't control how fast she posts a new smile. But you control your response. And your response becomes your reputation. First to yourself, and then to everyone watching. Women don't lose attraction because a breakup happened. They lose attraction when they see you collapse under pressure. when they see your emotions driving your actions instead of your principles. But the reverse is also true. When you remain calm, when you move forward without noise, it rewires her perception. Because now you're not the man she left. You're the man who let her go. Ask yourself the hard question. Are you acting like a man she'll regret losing? Or are you proving she made the right decision? Because the man who becomes unforgettable isn't the man who performs pain. It's the man who refines it into power. 3. He's not a replacement. He's a distraction. She looks like she moved on. New photos, new energy, a new chapter. And it messes with your head because you confuse speed with healing. But speed is often the opposite of healing. It's avoidance with makeup on. A lot of people don't process heartbreak. They outsource it. They jump into a new connection not because they're free, but because they're scared of being alone with their thoughts. And that's what rebounds are. Emotional anesthesia. Temporary relief. Not a cure. If she were truly at peace, she wouldn't need an audience for it. She wouldn't need to prove anything. When someone is genuinely happy, they don't build a billboard to convince their ex. They just live. So stop telling yourself he's better. Stop telling yourself you were the problem. That story only benefits her ego and your insecurity. Rebounds follow a pattern. They ignite fast, burn hot, and crash hard. Because they're built on urgency, not depth. And when the rush fades, the real comparison begins. Not the comparison of looks or money, but the comparison of presence. The comparison of who challenged her, who understood her, who didn't just entertain her, but reached her. And here's the twist. The less you react, the stronger the contrast becomes. While she's busy running from silence, you become a man who can sit in it, and that difference becomes impossible to ignore. When that shiny new beginning starts feeling like the same old emptiness with a different face, that's when the real consequences begin. Not the loud, dramatic consequences people post about, but the quiet ones. The ones that show up at night when the room is still, when the phone is face down, when there's nothing left to distract her from the truth. That's when the mind starts replaying what it used to minimize. And if you think you'll get closure from watching it happen, you won't. You'll only poison yourself. Because your power doesn't come from seeing her fail. Your power comes from becoming unshakable, whether she wins, loses, stays, leaves, posts, deletes, dates, or pretends. The Stoic man doesn't build his peace on someone else's downfall. He builds it on his own discipline. 4. The art of indifference. Here's the brutal equation most men refuse to accept. The more you care, the less she does. The more you watch, the less she respects. Because attention is currency, and when you spend it on someone who already walked away, you teach them you'll pay for rejection. Indifference is not cruelty, it's not hatred, it's not playing games. Real indifference is when she stops being the center of your inner world. When your mornings don't begin with her memory and your nights don't end with her name. When you realize your future isn't begging for her approval, it's waiting for your leadership. And yes, women test emotional strength. Sometimes consciously, sometimes instinctively. They test to see if you'll fold. They test to see if you'll react. They test to see if you'll prove they still have influence over you. And the moment you take the bait, anger texts, jealousy posts, accidental DMs, you fail the test because you just confirmed she can still pull your strings. But when you give her nothing, when you become quiet in the cleanest way, that's when her certainty starts to rot. Because certainty feeds comfort, and comfort kills curiosity. Indifference creates uncertainty, and uncertainty creates obsession. Let her post, let her perform. Let her parade whatever she thinks is a replacement. It doesn't matter. Because the moment she realizes you're genuinely unbothered, it hits her like cold water. He's not reacting. So maybe I'm not as important as I thought. That feeling, insignificance, is the one emotion people will cross oceans to escape. It's the one emotion that makes them circle back. Not love, not guilt, not nostalgia. Insignificance. 5. Self-improvement is the best revenge. Revenge is childish when it's about hurting someone. Real revenge is evolution. It's becoming so sharp, so disciplined, so focused, that her opinion becomes background noise, barely audible, barely relevant. Right now you have a choice. You can obsess, you can stalk, you can replay old conversations like they're evidence in a courtroom. Or you can redirect every ounce of that energy into building a version of you that doesn't need anyone's validation to stand tall. Most men self-destruct after a breakup. They drink more, sleep less, work less. They spiral into a weak routine and call it healing. And if that becomes you, you don't just suffer. You confirm her narrative that leaving was correct. But when a man levels up quietly, it disturbs people. When you get stronger, more disciplined, more confident, more grounded, without announcing it, she starts to wonder what she misread. She starts to feel the sting of timing. Because nothing burns like realizing you walked away from a man right before he became undeniable. And listen closely, you're not improving to make her jealous. You're improving to reclaim yourself, to rebuild your standards, to repair your identity, to become a man who doesn't need to be chosen, because he's already chosen his path. If this is hitting you, take 1 second and tap the like button. Not as a favor to me, but as a signal to yourself that you're done consuming weakness. You're choosing strength now. You're choosing control now. You're choosing forward. Go to the gym. Build the business. Fix the sleep. Fix the diet. Fix the discipline. Read the books you avoided. Learn the skills you postponed. Become dangerous in the quiet way, the way that doesn't need applause, the way that doesn't need revenge fantasies, the way that makes your presence feel heavier even when you're absent. Because here's what happens when you truly evolve. By the time she realizes what she lost, you won't be available. Not because you're petty, but because you've outgrown the version of you that would have taken her back without standards. 6. The myth of closure. A lot of men think the missing piece is a conversation. One final talk, one final explanation, one final why. They think if they can just understand it, the pain will dissolve. But that's not closure. That's negotiation with reality. Closure is a trap because it keeps you waiting for permission to heal. It makes her the judge of your peace. And even if you got the talk you're begging for, it wouldn't fix you. It would only give you more questions, more hooks, more reasons to stay emotionally attached. Maybe she tells you, it's not you, it's me. Maybe she says she still cares but isn't ready. Maybe she acts cold and pretends you meant nothing. None of it changes the fact that she left. None of it rewrites the outcome. And the stronger you become, the more you understand something simple. The ending is the answer. The strongest men don't beg for closure. They become it. They accept what happened, not because it feels good, but because it's real. They stop trying to extract truth from a person who's still lying to themselves. Your closure is this: she walked away, so move accordingly. The moment you stop asking for explanations is the moment you reclaim your power. Because now you're no longer trying to be understood, you're trying to be respected. And you earn respect by acting like a man whose life continues, with or without anyone's approval. The funny part is, the second you stop reaching for answers, the story starts reaching for you. Because when you remove yourself cleanly, you create a vacuum. And vacuums don't stay empty. They pull, they pressure, they force movement. That's why silence works when you have the discipline to hold it. 7. She's watching, even if you think she isn't. You think she forgot you. You think she moved on and never looked back. You imagine her living her best life while you're trying to stitch yourself together. But people don't walk away from something they once valued without checking the damage. Even if she blocks you, even if she acts done, curiosity still finds a way. At first, she'll avoid reminders. She'll tell herself you don't matter. She'll pretend she's free. But as time passes and the newness fades, curiosity creeps in like a slow leak. She'll check your profile. She'll scroll photos. She'll look for anything that proves you're still broken. And the worst thing you can do is give her the proof she wants. A sad caption. A cryptic quote. A forced, "look how happy I am" post that screams pain behind the smile. Because the moment she sees you trying to communicate through hints, she gets the confirmation. He's still attached. And attachment is leverage. But if she checks and finds nothing, no emotional signals, no public grieving, no indirect messages, just a man moving forward with calm strength, that's when the doubt starts. Why isn't he collapsing? Why does he look lighter? And doubt is dangerous because it begins rewriting her confidence. Here's what many women won't admit out loud. They don't want you to be happy without them. Not because they're evil, because it threatens the story they told themselves. They want to believe they mattered so deeply that you can't just move on. They want their departure to feel powerful. And when you deny them that satisfaction, it hits them in the one place pride can't defend: significance. When she starts feeling insignificant, she doesn't think, "I miss him." She thinks, "How could he not miss me?" And that question can keep a person awake. So don't post for her. Don't perform for her. Don't react for her. Just vanish from the place she expects to find you. 8. Attraction through mystery. If she knows everything about you, she can predict you. And when she can predict you, you become easy. When you become easy, you become forgettable. Mystery isn't manipulation. It's the natural byproduct of a man with a full life. Most men do the opposite after a breakup. They overexpose. They post constantly. They show the gym, show the meals, show the new grind, drop quotes, drop hints. It's a loud attempt to be seen by the one person who already chose to look away. And it kills the one thing that could have worked in your favor: uncertainty. When a woman is certain, she stops thinking. When she's uncertain, her mind fills in gaps. And the mind, when left alone, rarely fills gaps with kindness. It fills gaps with fear, with imagination, with possibilities. When you disappear, she has to wonder, is he dating someone? Did he forget me? Did I underestimate him? And those questions rebuild attraction not because you're trying, but because you're unavailable to her curiosity. And there's a deeper truth here. When you're truly leveling up, you don't need to announce it. You don't need proof. You don't need her to witness it. Your results will speak in ways that don't require captions. So stop giving away your story. Stop giving her access to your emotions. Stop handing her the map to your mind. Stay unpredictable. Stay silent. Stay moving. 9. The comeback test. At some point she'll reach out, not always with a confession. Sometimes it's a hey. Sometimes it's a random like. Sometimes it's a casual message wrapped in fake friendliness. How have you been? And in that moment, your heart will try to rise from the grave. Your mind will start sprinting. You'll think, this is it. She finally realized. That's the moment that exposes whether you grew or whether you just waited. Because the first reach out is rarely about love. It's about access. It's about checking whether she still has a key to the door. She wants to see if you're still available, still emotional, still an option she can reopen whenever she feels lonely or uncertain. Most men fail right there. They reply instantly. They flood her with warmth. They act grateful. They try to win her back. And the second she senses that you're still hooked, she relaxes. Because her curiosity is satisfied. She got her answer. You never moved on. But the man who passes the test does something different. He stays calm. He doesn't rush. He doesn't over-explain. He doesn't turn one message into a reunion. He responds, if he responds at all, like a man who has a life. Short, polite, detached. Something like, I'm good. Hope you're well. No emotional fireworks. No late-night paragraphs. No nostalgia. No chasing. And that distance will disturb her, because now she can't tell where she stands. Now she feels the shift. Now she's the one wondering whether she lost access permanently. That's when the dynamic flips. Because attraction isn't built by begging. It's built by uncertainty. And uncertainty only exists when you can walk away. So when she comes back, don't treat it like victory. Treat it like a test of your discipline, a test of your self-respect, a test of whether you're still the same man she left or someone she no longer has the privilege to reach. And here's what makes this final part dangerous. It's not about her anymore. It's about you. Because the moment she returns, even slightly, your old self will try to negotiate, to hope, to replay the best moments, and pretend the worst ones weren't real. This is where most men lose themselves again, not because she's powerful, but because they never rebuilt their standards. 10. The final power move. So she reached out. Maybe she's subtle, testing the water with something light. Maybe she's direct, hinting at regret, bringing up memories like bait. Maybe she's even saying the words you imagined hearing, "I miss you." And for a second, it feels like the universe just handed you the ending you wanted. But you need to be smarter than the average man right here, because how you respond decides everything. Most men think this is the moment to win her back. They get excited, they overtalk, they try to convince, they rush to secure her. But when a woman comes back, it's rarely because love suddenly became pure and perfect. Often it's because uncertainty showed up, because you stopped feeding her ego, because she felt the absence and it disturbed her, and now she wants to check something. Do I still have control over him? If you respond with eagerness, you answer her question instantly. You tell her, yes, you still have access. And when she feels that access again, she relaxes, and the same cycle returns. The interest fades, the respect weakens, the distance comes back. That's why men get stuck in repeated breakups, not because she's confused, but because they keep rewarding confusion with availability. So the final power move is not taking her back quickly. It's not proving you're worthy. It's not performing forgiveness like a desperate audition. The final power move is staying in control. That means you ask yourself the real question, the one your emotions don't want to hear. Do I even want this anymore? Not, do I miss her? Not, can we fix it? Not, what if she changes? But, does she meet the standard of the man I'm becoming? Because let's be honest, if she truly valued you, she wouldn't have treated you like something replaceable. If she truly respected you, she wouldn't have needed to lose you to notice your worth. And if she's only coming back because she feels uncertain, not because she's certain she wants you, then she's not returning out of love. She's returning out of ego, and ego isn't enough to build a future. So if you choose to respond, keep your frame calm, polite, detached, no emotional dumping, no instant reunion. Let her feel the difference. Let her sense that she's no longer the center of your world. Because if she truly wants you back, she won't need you to chase. She'll show consistency. She'll show effort. She'll show accountability. She'll show respect. She'll be willing to rebuild, not just reappear. And if she's not willing to do that, then you have your answer. This is what Stoicism looks like in real life. Not coldness, but clarity. Not bitterness, but boundaries. Not revenge, but discipline. You're not the man who begs for a seat at someone else's table. You build your own table. You decide who sits there. And you never trade your peace for temporary attention. So remember the truth that changes everything. She didn't replace you. She ran from herself. She ran from the silence. She ran from the mirror. And the moment the noise stops, when the new excitement fades and real life comes back, she will feel what she tried to outrun. But by then, you should be somewhere else mentally, stronger, sharper, unavailable to old patterns. Not because you hate her, because you finally respect yourself. If you've made it this far, do two things right now. Subscribe to Stoic Legacy so you don't fall back into the same traps when emotions hit, and like this video as a small commitment to your own discipline. And in the comments type, "I'm the man," or share the moment you learned self-respect the hard way, what happened and what it taught you, because the choice is yours. Stay stuck in the past or become the man she'll never fully get over, not because you chased her, but because you mastered yourself.